It is rumored that the concept of foldable phones has been floating in Samsung since 2011, and in CES 2013, they have spread the buzz about the foldable devices with a short commercial.
Wow, that's amazing.
Now fast forward 6 years later, when the Galaxy S series has turned from flat to curved edges and to the removal of home buttons, and finally, we have seen the first glimpse of the foldable devices, with Samsung finally introducing its long-awaited Galaxy Fold and Huawei with its Mate X. But who did it better? Join us as we discuss the differences between the two. Let's get the specs out of the way first. The Samsung Galaxy Fold sports the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 processor and a huge 12GB of RAM. The Huawei Mate X, on the other hand, has the Kirin 980 with Balong 5000 and an 8GB of RAM. Both processors are extremely fast, so it's hard to gauge who will be faster without the actual device benchmark. But Samsung does have a higher RAM, making it a tiny bit better than the Mate X, at least specs-wise. What makes Huawei better, however, is the expandable storage, which is up to 256GB and a bit larger battery life of 4500 mAh compared to the 4380 mAh the Fold have. Not talking about the Google ban in China, both the Galaxy Fold and the Mate X will ship with the latest Android Pie pre-installed, with each manufacturer using their own custom UI. Samsung with its new One UI, which is a better reception compared to its old TouchWiz, and Huawei's MUI, which is used by its other devices. Additional features exclusive to the Galaxy Fold is the fast wireless charging and a wireless power share, while the Mate X has a faster wired charging with its 55W supercharge, claiming up to 80% battery recovery in just 30 minutes. Now with those things already discussed, let's get to the main point of this comparison, the foldable screen. Samsung usually does have the best screens in the current smartphone market, so it comes a bit of a surprise that Huawei's Mate X has better screen resolution with its 8-inch 2480 by 2200 OLED display, compared to Samsung's 7.3-inch 2152 by 1536 AMOLED display. Though AMOLED is generally superior than the regular OLED display, but there is a pretty large resolution gap here, favoring the Mate X. The direction on where the phone folds is also a huge difference between the two, with Samsung opening and closing the foldable screen like a book, while Huawei having both the screen outside when folded. This is where the general concept of foldable phones has hugely differ, with Samsung seems like to be contented with just wanting a large screen to fit in your pocket, while Huawei's approach, on the other hand, is not only to fit it in your pocket, but at the same time actually make those foldable screens usable while being folded, which we cannot really say the same to Samsung's design. When fully opened, the Galaxy Fold has a 7.3-inch display, but when folded, the display is folded inwards, and a separate display will be used, which is a 4.6-inch 1960 by 840 AMOLED display, which is considered small by today's standard, not to mention the large bezel around it. There is also a lot of cameras in this phone, not 3, not 4, but 6 cameras. The back camera has a 40MP primary, 16MP ultra-wide, and an 8MP telephoto lens. The front camera, when fully opened, has a 8MP main and an 8MP depth. And lastly, another 10MP camera in the front cover where the smaller screen is located. The amount of camera is astounding, but frankly speaking, it's a bit of a waste of resources and internal space compared to Huawei's design. The Mate X, when fully opened, offers an 8-inch display, and when folded, the screen is divided into two. The front, which is a 6.6-inch with a resolution of 2480 by 1148, and the back, which is a 6.4-inch with a resolution of 2480 by 982. This approach from Huawei gives a clear advantage in the Mate X, since there is no need to add another display if you can use the current one, giving the Mate X better size and resolution than the Galaxy Fold, both when folded and unfolded. And this idea does not stop on the phone screen, but also extends towards the camera working. Huawei only have 3 camera, which is pretty similar to Samsung's back camera, a 40MP primary, 16MP ultra-wide, and an 8MP telephoto lens. However, the phone design lets you use the camera as the normal back-facing camera, and when it's time for a selfie, use the back-facing screen and make it a front-facing camera. Genius! This setup really gives a huge advantage than the regular smartphones since back-facing camera is indeed designed to be better than the front-facing ones. The only time the Samsung Fold has an advantage in its camera setup is when during taking Skype calls in full screen mode, since Huawei does not really have any camera at the front when fully opened, which means Samsung device may be a better choice for busy executives that multitask during video conferences, which obviously are the ones that can afford its current price tag. But for casual people like 90% of the world that just want to take selfie, the Mate X will be a better choice, since you won't really be wanting to take a selfie using one hand with a tablet-sized screen, won't you? But then again, the price is 2,000 USD for the Galaxy Fold and 2,300 Euro or roughly 2,600 USD for the Mate X, which only rich businessmen can afford and not the casual group. So maybe Samsung are actually focusing on these guys on its first iteration. But in the future, we are really hoping to see more on Huawei's design to be adopted once price goes lesser. So what do you guys think between the release of these first two foldable phones? If you can afford one, which one would you get? Tell us in the comment section below. Peace out!